Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast and Radio Show, coming to you on this Friday, April the 19th, 2024. Hopefully it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. Today's episode, we're just doing a little rant or just a little weekend chat to get you guys moving through the weekend. I am extremely short on time today. I'm coming to you from my home office. I have two dogs here. Again, you know the drill. One of them is over 14, one of them is 6 months. So you get what you get. If something walks by, we're going to hear some barking or just some taps, as they like to kind of sleep in here and lay around here. Heather's out for a run, so I'll do the best I can with you guys. But I want to get you something kind of as we head into the weekend, as you do your rucking or your mobility work or whatever you have going on in your life. Just a little easy listening, just a couple of things that I read and picked up here along the way, and just my thoughts as well. A couple housekeeping things before we kick off. One, we just loaded a boxing training program inside the Jeremy Scott Fitness app. BJ Gaddour created this. I don't know anything about boxing, but it is, I believe, 11 full follow-along workouts, including his heavy bag from hell session at the very end of the program, which I believe is an hour plus follow-along. It's not just, even if you don't have a boxing bag, you could still do the program. He's just working on all the footwork, hips, shoulders, mechanics, the aerobic things. It's very detailed. It is some of the most detailed stuff I've ever seen. So we got the rights to that program, and I loaded it inside the Jeremy Scott Fitness app for you guys. So if you're interested in something to work on your mobility, to work on your hips, to work on your footwork, to work on just coordination, aerobic capacity, things to raise your heart rate and burn fat, this would be a great program for you. And you simply just follow along, click it, play. You can listen to it. Everything is loaded inside the app for you guys, and it's 100% for free. So on top of that, that's the newest thing we dropped in there, our rebuilt program, which I can talk about in more detail probably next week. That is done. It should be loaded in the app shortly. It's a premium option. We're going to do a discount for all app members already. Everybody who's been on the app will shoot out an email. You guys can read that. You can buy it at a discount, and then you own it for life. That program is very detailed. If you're looking to be athletic at any age, kind of rebuild your body, improve your mobility, decrease the risk of injury, and push yourself in some workouts that are much different and in ways that you haven't done before, this would be the program for you. So JeremyScottFitness.app, we'll have all that stuff inside of there. You guys can click the link, get a week for free, access to all our programs, all my weekly workouts, access to the new boxing training program from BJ, and then the rebuilt will be an option for you in there as well. And before we jump in super fast, the one thing I take every single day and I never miss is my AG1. If you guys don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, this would be the one thing I would take. If you're tired of taking 15 different pills, this is the one simple thing I would throw in water, slam it, and you're good to go for the day, and you can get rid of a majority of the other supplements that you're purchasing, buying, and taking 24/7. So not only did it replace my multivitamin, for me, there's prebiotics in there, probiotics in there for my gut health, also the digestive enzymes, magnesium, B vitamins, adaptogens, vitamin C, zinc, you name it, kind of everything from head to toe. And so if you're not going to be able to eat 10 to 12 servings of fruits and veggies a day, this is something that I would do. This is why I take it, and I've taken it, I believe, every day for about the last, 6 or 7 years. So if you guys want to pick some up, the link's going to be in the show notes. drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott gets you a year's supply of free vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with order 1. Or if you want a 100% free sample, you can message me or reach out to me wherever you can get in contact with us. I'll have Monica send a pack right to your front door. You can try it for free. If you like it, then we'll hook you up with all the free stuff from there. So hit us up. I'm happy to do it to help you guys out. Otherwise, drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott gets you all the free stuff today. And again, I don't go anywhere without it, and I take it every single day because it's easy and it's the best tasting, in my opinion, of all of the kind of nutritional drinks that are out there. So with that, I'm just going to share two quick things today for you guys that I had picked up this week, since I have to hop on our Built Different mastermind phone call here in about the next 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to get this live and loaded before that. Heather did send me this today. I believe it's the Moon Omens on Instagram account that she follows, and some of these are just they're nice to hear. They're timely, and I like to share them with you guys, especially depending on where you're at in your day, in your weekend, or in your life. If you listen to this, April 19th, 2024, or if you're listening to this 3 months from now, 6 months from now, or 2 years from now. And it's just a simple message, and I quote, "Sometimes we have to go through challenges we think we will never get through in order to see how far we can go in life. Tough times prepare us for good times." And again, I'll read it one more time real quick because I know a lot of people need to hear this. Sometimes we go through challenges we think we'll never get through in order to see how far we can go in life. And those tough times prepare us for the good times. It's the peaks and valleys we talk about all the time on here. And man, do I know, when you're in a valley, it's hard to see the peak, and then once you get up it, sometimes it's a false summit, and you just have to keep going and going and going, and it's never fun, and it's never ideal. But my always advice is, if you're going through hell, just keep going and try to exhaust all your options to get where you want to go. And it's rarely ever a straight line, which, man, it would be so much nicer and easier if it was, but unfortunately, that's not the case in fitness, in health, in relationships, in almost any endeavor you do. Things don't tend to play out exactly the way that you want them to, and you kind of have to roll with the punches and do the best you can with what you got, which always easier said than done, and focusing on, just one day at a time. And that's all we can do. So, with that, I'm just going to read through 2 notes I found from 2 people in my kind of fitness circle. I believe Justin Yule put out the first one. If he did not, I apologize. It's been on my phone for a while, and I stumbled onto it, and I just wanted to share with everybody. And then Steve Shaw threw out the other one. And they're both just kind of random thoughts as you head into the weekend, and just kind of, food for thought things, depending where you're at on your journey and how you kind of look at the health and fitness space and everything that goes into it. And there's no perfect diet. There's no perfect program. There's no perfect work-life balance. There's no really perfect anything. Something works for everyone, and that's, it's tough in fitness for us to create programs and different protocols for people. If you're the ideal person and you kind of fit into the box, it's easy. But if you have, injuries or, different responsibilities, a different work schedule, sleep schedule, it's tougher. Same thing with healthcare. It's easy to kind of prescribe somebody something when they kind of fit into the box, but when they don't fit inside the box, it's a harder puzzle to figure out. And it's the same thing with your career. It's the same thing with any relationships you have with your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife, you name it. You got to navigate some funky things. But the one thing that kind of holds true is it's going to be hard at times. And you just have to keep moving forward. And you have to keep trying to just figure it out. And the little snippet I want to share, I believe Justin Yule put this out, and it goes like this. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you've ever quit working out with a coach or a gym and said the training just wasn't hard enough, I want to help you out. If you've ever said that or thought that you believed exercise has to be hard to be effective, it's simply not true. If you want hard, try this. And again, hard is all about how you perceive it and your perception of what hard is. Hard to another person might be easy to another, and vice versa. But the reality is, what is really hard to do is to show up consistently for 90 days. Show up consistently for 90 days in a row. Doesn't mean you have to work out all 90 days in a row, but be active for all 90 days. If your goal is to attend 3 training sessions per week, every week, do that for 90 straight days. That's the challenge. If the goal is to get 5,000 steps a day, every day for 90 days, do that. That is the challenge. If the goal is to get to sleep, by 10 p.m. every day for 90 days, That is what is hard. That's the challenge that most people struggle to really confront. Your consistency matters more than the intensity of the program. I'm going to say that again. The consistency of what you do and how you do it matters much more than just the intensity of the program. Not that the intensity doesn't matter, but especially when you start a program and when you begin it, like when it's the initial phase, the consistency is everything. You don't have to go in the gym and kill yourself every single day. You don't have to be so sore you can't sit on the toilet. That doesn't help anybody, especially as you get older. You get aches and pains and injuries, and they're going to catch you anyway. But there's no need to do a bunch of junk volume and damage yourself and, essentially step over dimes to pick up pennies because you beat yourself up so much on Monday and Tuesday, you're worthless on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, there's a time and place for things to be intense. You can do a really hard training session per week. And obviously, if it's easy on the joints, it can be aerobic or non-aerobic. It can be anywhere from 20 minutes in length to 40 minutes in length. But the point is, your consistency matters more than your intensity. Making someone super sore is not hard to do. Any fitness coach can do that. Any bullshit gym can do that. A 5-year-old kid can do that. You can go out and do yard work for 10 hours and be super sore. It doesn't mean it's a great workout. Making somebody sweat a lot is not hard to do. You can turn on the heat or have them run around outside in Arizona for 10 minutes and they're super sweaty. Making somebody out of breath is not hard to do. Stick them on an assault bike for 2 minutes and have them go, 70% of their max. They'll be out of breath. That's the easiest thing to do. The easiest thing to do in fitness is to make workouts super hard, make people sweaty, and make them out of breath. That is the easiest fucking thing to do in fitness. That is not difficult. That is the easiest thing that can be done, but it is the wrong thing to chase. The hardest thing that you're going to do in order to change your health and your fitness is to show up consistently and not make excuses for why you can't do that. It's a hard truth, but it's still true. And that doesn't just mean your exercise. The hardest thing you're going to do to change how healthy you feel and your fitness is to consistently show up and not make excuses of why you can't do mobility, of why you can't foam roll, of why you can't, get into bed most days at a decent hour, why you can't eat a couple of vegetables, why you, don't need to be abusing drugs and alcohol. That's the reality, and it's a hard truth, but it is the truth. And so when you start to look at it and frame it that way in your brain and your mind, hopefully it makes things a little bit easier. And this is not to knock anybody if you're having a hard time and you're struggling, because we all have, physical struggles, mental struggles, emotional struggles, and everything in between. But what looks hard on the outside in reality is not the hardest things. It's hard to share your consistency of doing these things that don't look fancy on Facebook and Instagram, and you can't, brag to your friends and your community and your people about. It looks like you're a badass when you're on an assault bike and you're sweaty and you're doing kettlebell swings and you're doing push-ups and all these activities. That looks really tough. But the reality is what's tough is all the things that people don't see. It's how do we say it here? Kind of the suffering in silence. And it's, it's the stuff you do in private that you tend to get praised for in public, whether that be your friend circle or society or anywhere in between. So just little snippet from my man Justin Yule on fitness, what's hard, how to look at it, how you frame it, and how you kind of go about your day in terms of really making a change. And I think if you really ask yourself, what is hard for you, you'll find the answer pretty quick. I also want to share this really fast before I head off and do all the work that I have to do today. This is from Steve Shaw, and it's just a little message, not being cynical or jaded by the world, but just kind of looking back at how we grew up, the people kind of in my time frame. If you're late 30s, over 40, even into your 50s and beyond, it was a different era. I'm not saying better or worse, but we lived a different life for sure. And some things we do way better now, some things we do way worse. Obviously, there's more education now, there's more access to information. Uh, in some places, there's a bigger focus on health and fitness and recovery and how to do what's best for you and your family and your kids. But we've lost some things along the way too. And there's some sweet balance there in the middle. Some of you out there might be finding it, some of you may not. But his message is just this for all my 80s babies out there. You guys will appreciate this. He goes on to say, somehow we manage to survive as kids. And he wrote, breakfast would be a bowl of cereal and a splash of milk, maybe 250 calories. There was no water bottles or snacks after that. That was our elaborate preparation for the day. During the school day, you would have a couple of sips of water from the water fountain, more than less. During lunch, you'd have a sandwich and like a half an apple and maybe a couple of chips and 2/3 of a carton of warm, nasty tasting milk. Or if you ate school lunch, it would be like a slice of pepperoni pizza, half a peanut butter sandwich, and like applesauce in the same nasty milk. And that would be, or what would be like a chicken, like a scoop of mashed potatoes, a chicken sandwich, a little bit of sugary fruit cocktail, and like a chocolate milk. And that would be your day. And by 2 o'clock, after yet another recess of playing kickball, you might need another sip of water or two from the drinking fountain. And then you're pretty much good to go for the rest of the day. As you return home, you'd ask your mom for a snack or your dad, or if you're like me, like a latchkey kid, you'd look through the pantry of your house, your friend's house. And if you had something, you'd eat it. And if not, you kind of just wait till dinner. And you did. And that's what a lot of us would do. Then you went outside and you played for a couple of hours. You were devoid of any water bottles. At least I never remember bringing a water bottle, whether it's disposable or my own, anywhere as a kid. I never had one. So we'd be outside playing for hours, dude, devoid of any, water bottles or hydration or snack packs. If we ate fruit roll-ups, it was for a snack hours ago. I wasn't traveling around with goldfish or, leftover chicken nuggets in my pants pockets like Napoleon Dynamite or any candy stashed away. But somehow we managed to survive until like 5 p.m. on minimal hydration and maybe, if we're lucky, 500 to 1,000 calories at most. And that's being generous. And somehow it didn't bother us in the least. This was our normal. And this was a damn good life. We weren't coddled. There was no paranoia that we'd die if we didn't have a water bottle or an afternoon snack. And outside, we ran in packs. There was no cell phones. Most of the time, your mom and dad had no fucking clue where you were. And oh, sure, they had a general idea that you were in the neighborhood, at a friend's house or with some neighborhood kids. But beyond that, as long as no one could call your mom and dad at their job and harass them and tell them that you were causing trouble and being a little shit, they didn't really care. They had no idea how far we actually rode our bikes. And I look back on those days and they were fucking great, man. And I think obviously simpler times. As a kid, you don't know what's going on, and sometimes ignorance truly is bliss. But that way of living equips you for success. And I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that we're a tougher generation, because every generation has its own unique struggles, especially, like my grandfather who gets, shipped off and he's going to war, as an 18-year-old kid. I can't fucking imagine the anxiety and stress that he feels versus the, bullshit that I have to deal with. And although like his problems don't take away my problems, and it doesn't, take anything away from my struggles and the things I go through, it's just different. We're just different generations, and every generation has its own unique struggles. obstacles and also has its own unique benefits and opportunities. But I will say this, we were a free generation, a generation that was forcing us to use our own instincts. We weren't forced to feed or be overhydrated or oversnacked, every 2 hours. Yeah, your parents might have told you to clean your plate. Mine never did. I know friends who had parents who did. But again, they weren't doing that for 3 squares a day. It was probably just at dinner time. But most people didn't. We weren't living the way that we're living now. And the one thing I remember most about living through that era was that we never felt, hungry and starving 24/7, unless you lived in extreme poverty, which we didn't. There was times where I maybe be hungry at my house, but I didn't feel like I had to eat every 3 hours. I didn't feel thirsty 24/7, and I could play outside all fucking day without having to go to the bathroom 7 different times. And I don't know what any of that means, but I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out. And that's kind of his message. Just if you think about how different things are and how we do things today. Now, I do think we do a lot of things much better today than we did back then, but it definitely is a different time. And our habits and our rituals and routines have made things better in a lot of ways and made things worse in a lot of ways. And I always will go back to kind of the pictures of, kids in the 70s, in the 80s, their physical fitness classes, the overall classroom photos, kids training, how much more active they were. We didn't have all the awesome technology. Didn't have an iPhone, didn't have an iPad, didn't have Netflix, on demand and 80 different streaming services. I kind of had the channels that were on, and you'd watch TV and you'd play Nintendo and you'd do those things, but it wasn't the same. And, I think we've lost, obviously, some physical activity along the way and a little bit of, creativity in some ways, and you've gained a lot of creativity in others. But just something to think about, just how much we would move and how we would kind of go about the day and how we do it now and what we feel like you need to have to get through the day. It's more of like what you want to have versus what you actually need to have. And so just wanted to share those with you guys here today. Just some random, again, weekend thoughts as you head into the weekend. Other than that, nothing super crazy. Again, rebuilt programs coming to the app. The BJ boxing trainer is loaded on the app for you guys if you want to get into that. I thought I had one other little note here, but maybe I'll save it for you guys for next week. Again, I'm short on time here. I got a call to hop on here in the next couple of minutes. My schedule's been crazy the last couple of weeks. I apologize to you guys. I'm doing the best I can with all the stuff I got going on, but I'll keep banging out even these little quick ones to give you just some easy listening, and hopefully you did mobility through this 25 minutes, and you keep moving better and feeling better. But if you guys have questions on the app at all, if you want free samples of AG1, if you have any questions to any other sponsors that we work with, JLab, Sleep Sold Separately, all those guys, the links are all in the show notes. If you are on our newsletter, you guys will be getting a bunch of stuff coming from me next week regarding the Rebuilt program. If not, hit us up. I'm happy to add you guys to the newsletter and get you on there as we send out 3 emails a week every week. We've done that for the past almost 15 years at this point. And again, if you guys are on Apple Podcasts, drop it a 5-star, leave a comment. I'd appreciate it. If you're on Spotify, drop it a 5-star. You can leave comments on each individual episode on there as well. And if you need something, as always, reach out. If you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate you guys as always. And I'll talk with you guys here in a couple of days. But until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.